You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
You ever get a song stuck in your head and you just can't get it out? I'm sure you do. Happens to everyone. I didn't even let you answer that question. That's so rude of me. I'm going to assume the answer was yes, right?
I like it when it happens too.
So the song I've got stuck in my head right now, I don't even know who sings it. I just know it goes viral on YouTube every once in a while. It's a black guy, and I think the song is called Biracial. Have you seen or heard it?
No.
Like, she's biracial. It's really, really dumb song, really stupid song. And the reason it's stuck in my head is because the Dolphins have hired Mike McDaniel. And I guess him being biracial. See, over here in the UK, we say mixed race.
Yeah.
But I guess everyone's saying biracial is the thing at the moment. So, but yeah, the Dolphins, they tweet out as well. We have agreed to terms with Mike McDaniel, welcome to Miami coach. It seems he was the fan favorite, I guess. A lot of fans wanted him. And I'll get into that, once we delve into it and stuff. But you messaged me straight away, about the tweet, the news, I guess. What do you make of it?
I have my suspicions, bro. I believe we talked about, if we let Flores go, I wonder if there was something in the works and they better have their next man lined up. And I think they got to have a plan, all this good stuff. I don't think they had a plan. Not only do I not think they had a plan, I think when it all came down to it, I think Brian Daboll was the go-to. Then I think it was Harbaugh. Then I think it was Mike McDaniel. So when Brian Daboll went to the Giants, I think it put in motion the Jim Harbaugh move. Jim Harbaugh went to Minnesota. Things hit the fan. Harbaugh's like, hey, I don't know if I'm going down there to Miami. I don't like the smell of it. You know what I'm saying? So Miami went to their third option, in my opinion, which is Mike McDaniel. So, there was Kellen Moore on the list. It's cool. I don't love it. I don't hate it. There was nobody out there that I absolutely wanted other than Sean Payton. So now that we here now. They old news. You already know me. It's Go Time. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. We talking Dolphins football. Mike McDaniel, the new Miami Dolphins head coach.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like with the Brian Flores firing and this hiring, you're basically the same. And it's basically, you're not upset, you're not happy. You're just, we'll see how it goes. I'm chatting to 5 Yard Lee at the moment. And what I said to him is, I'm at a stage where impress me. I'm not going to come out like, yeah, we got the guy. This is it. Because it doesn't mean anything no more. I'm not going to be like, nope, that's it. My Dolphins fandom is done. I don't care no more. Because, again, the guy hasn't done anything. The guy hasn't come into the building. He interviews amazing in terms of, like, you see these little clips going viral recently. He speaks like a professor of the game. That's all good and proper. But can you execute that vision onto the field? So when he has his press conference and he comes out and says that I love Tua, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do... To me, it doesn't matter. Can you execute, come September? And I think what I find really interesting is that you got fans going, Ross has to go, Stephen Ross, the owner, has to go, can't get anything right, I don't trust him to make the right decision, all this kind of stuff. those same fans are going, hire Mike McDaniel. So now he's hired Mike McDaniel. Does that mean that he can make the right decisions, or was that just an easy decision for him to make? I think ultimately I'm sure we'll speak about Kellen Moore because he was a finalist between him and McDaniel. I think I'm a Madden player. I got into football, the Dolphins via Madden, and I am scheme over team. Like, you can have the best group of players on the field, but my offensive and defensive scheme will get the better of you. And the thing I like about McDaniel is he seems to scheme over team. As if I'm going to scheme a way to win this game. It doesn't matter if I've got, practice squad guys at wide receiver. I don't want that. But, and I think it doesn't matter in San Francisco where he's come from. It doesn't matter who the running back was. They always had a run game because that run game was schemed. And I think that's what I want to see from Miami going forward. Can he scheme things open, have a good enough scheme to win games?
That's exactly where we at right now. And I'm glad you brought it up because I wonder what's going to happen with the run game. And I know this for sure. Receivers got to be able to block in this game. With this coach, your receiver's going to have to block. I don't know how much blocking Devontae Parker is willing to do, but receivers going to have to block. And just to keep it on Mike McDaniel, because this is how many coaches do you get to run through in a lifetime? I mean, if you're the Dolphins, then it's quite a bit, but not every team gets a new coach like that. So I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm interested. Intrigued probably for the most part, because I'm like, man, you hear what he says on his clips and all over social media, and he knows football. He knows his football. It's not about does he know football. It's not about does he know what he's talking about. It's not about any of that. It's just about can he manage the team? Can he take control of the team? Can he lead the team? Can he get the respect of the locker room? Will he have players behind him that respect him? And you don't have to have players like you, but are they going to play for you? Can they come back from a 7-game losing streak? Hopefully we don't have to find that out ever again.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But that's the type, that's what those are the questions. Not does he know his football? It's clear. The man was Mike McDaniel. Is it Matt LaFleur? I think it's Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay. All of them were on the same coaching staff once upon a time. All of them are head coaches now. Starting today, Mike McDaniel's a head coach now. Every single one of them are successful. Now, I will be clear. The rest of them have called plays. He may not be a play caller, but all of them are successful head coaches. Now, how successful is Matt LaFleur when Aaron Rodgers leaves? I guess we about to find out. We're going to see what Matt LaFleur is really made of without Aaron Rodgers. So I'm intrigued. This is the best word I could come up with is intrigued, because I think dude is I don't want to go ahead and call him a genius, but the dude is incredibly smart, incredibly talented, and he's like the mad scientist. Kadeem, you ever had so you're a writer. You're a writer. I also, I create, I make music, I write. I'm about to publish a couple books. Y'all stay tuned for that. I'm fairly artistic. When you have a coach like Mike McDaniel, who is the mad scientist that everybody keeps in the back room, that they bring him everywhere Shanahan goes, he brings Mike McDaniel with him. Like, yo, we keep him buried in the dungeon so no one could take him. Then when the cat's out the bag and everybody's hearing about, well, who is this Mike McDaniel guy? Kyle Shanahan says, don't worry about who this Mike McDaniel guy is. I'm just going to pay him a lot more money a year and make him my OC so you can't grab him. So the Dolphins finally go ahead and make him the head coach. My thing is, and I said this to Bert, my thing is, I may have said this on this podcast before. You have all the freedom in the world to come up with all kind of ideas, to have Trent Williams run in motion, right? To have Debo Samuel as a running back, to pitch on inside runs instead of outside runs. He's so outside of the box. You know what I'm saying? Broken crayons can color too. You know what I'm saying? And he's that dude. So you appreciate that. But what happens when that type of stuff is done? Now it's, you don't have time to create all this stuff. You don't have time to be all artistic like you want it to be because you have to manage a team. But I will say this. I'm sure there's some stuff, Kadeem, that he wanted to do that Shanahan was like, nah, bro, you tripping. That's too far outside the box. So I think we're going to get some of that. Now that he's the head coach, he's like, oh yeah, I'm running this. I'm steering the ship now. So I can't wait, bro.
Stuff like you mentioned about, tackles going in motion and stuff like that. He probably got something where it's like, tackle's going to be a receiver. They're going to pitch it to him. He's going to throw it downfield. And everyone's like, really? Is this really what we're doing? Do you know what? It's, you made a valid point. And one of the criticisms against Mike McDaniel, and I think we should get it, we're 10 minutes into this episode, but it's Mike McDaniel, not McDaniels. For the next few, however long going to be here, is Mike McDaniel, no S. Like, let's just get that perfectly crystal clear. But yeah, I think people said, oh, he never called plays. He hasn't done this. He hasn't done that. And I get it. They are genuine concerns. But what if, and not that he, like you said, he has to manage, he has to coach, he has to look after the defensive side of the ball, the offensive side of the ball. I heard all these people say, why don't you go and get someone who he managed it all? I don't think there's many coaches in the NFL who have managed or coached on all. No, I say manage because that's a UK term. Our football managers manage. So if I say manage, it's what I'm used to. I try and say coached. But I'm not sure how many NFL coaches have coached all sides of the ball, offensively, defensively, special teams. I'm pretty sure they're all specialized in one. Like, again, this is my, only NFL for the last 7-8 years. Bill Belichick is a defensive coach, right? Always coached on the defensive side of the ball, as far as I'm aware, right?
Mm-hmm.
No one ever talks about him, he never done the other side of the ball. That's because he delegates. And I think a lot of this is going to come down to, can he delegate right? I know a lot of people have said this hire doesn't matter if you don't bring in the right people. And given that he's always been like the Robin to Carl Shanahan, Batman, I guess.
Yeah.
Does he have his own team? Can he go and call on, experienced people? Will experienced people want to come and work with him in Miami, especially what's happened recently? Listen, I don't think the age played that much of a factor, given that if anything, he's more relatable to the players, and that works two ways. Some guys would be like, I'm not listening to someone who I'm literally like 2 years younger than, it doesn't matter. And others would be like, he connects with me, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, his coaching staff will be very, very, very important, I guess, and interesting to see what he does. But I do think ultimately, like you said, when you've got all the time in the world to come up with the most creative and exotic plays, how much of that we're going to see in Miami, given that he's got more on his plate, I guess?
So I want to say this. Well, back to what you're saying about Belichick. You're going to have coaches that have experience on both sides of the balls, but that doesn't mean it's extensive experience. And every coach probably knows a little bit about everything. You know what I'm saying? I imagine every single coach knows a little bit about everything. That's for sure. So what you were saying about, his staff, I'm anxious to see. Did he ever have an interest in calling plays, since he was never a play caller? Did he ever say, hey, I want to do this? And then Sean McVay, but you know what? Before we go there, Sean McVay, at one point was the youngest coach in the league. He still may be the youngest coach in the league, or that might, I don't know about Zach Taylor, but at one point, Sean McVay was the youngest coach in the league. He's made it to two Super Bowls in the past about 4 years. something like that, right? I don't think age matters at all. If you know what you're doing and you get us to the promised land, everybody's gonna respect it. It's that simple. Now, if you come out and we're not performing, and the first year and a half is subpar, we're in trouble. You're in trouble, Holmes. Like it is what it is. It's the product. So I don't think his age matters, but I'm curious to see if he ever wanted to call plays. Like, in the what they call it, the white and blue game in LA, because we have the teal and white game. You know what I'm saying? It's the game in the summer where you're playing each other, offense versus defense. The backup quarterback plays on the white team. The starting quarterback plays on the teal team, something like that, right? It's like a glorified scrimmage. I wonder if he ever called the plays on one of them teams and Sean McVay was like, boy, or Kyle Shanahan was like, never gonna happen. You're never calling plays, bro. If this is how you calling plays, you're never calling plays. So I wonder if he ever had an itch to call plays. There's a possibility that he wanted to call plays, but there was always somebody better in front of him. Kyle Shanahan himself, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur, all them boys were in front of him. So there's a chance he could just, you know what? I never had the opportunity to call plays because someone better was in front of me. Now this could be his opportunity. I do have my reservations. I'm a little bit skeptical, but I was skeptical about every head coach that was out there, and I can't wait to see what we really got. About what you were saying about him bringing the staff together. It looks as if the Dolphins are going to keep the defensive side of the ball intact with the staff. So that helps halfway, half of the problem, half of the battle. And if you bring this defensive staff back with the success that we've been having, and a lot of people don't know this, we didn't have one of the best defenses last year. It was only average. It was the 10-6 season where we had one of the best defenses in the league. And we had the number one points against defense, points per game. So yeah, that defense is not like it was a top 10 defense. We did not have a top 10 defense last year, but we still had a pretty good defense. Now, if you keep the defense intact and you do what you were supposed to do, and you don't come out 1-7 like you did when you laid down, we don't know whose decision that was, and you can run the ball, it's a passing league, but you have to be able to run the ball. We can't run the ball. So I gotta believe that's going to be able to change this year with Mike McDaniel. No S, Mike McDaniel. Put some respect on it, man. The man's a head coach now, Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. I think I kind of want, before we, really focus in, and again, now we can, through the power of the internet and, StreamYard and all that kind of stuff, we can really start to look into some 49ers plays, see what we might bring over and stuff like that. That's one thing I really want to do on this podcast going forward. But I think there was a growing belief, be it correctly or wrongly, that Kellen Moore was going to get the job. People started looking at, I think over the past 3 years, the Cowboys have had like a top 3 offense. I think the 1 year that they didn't have it was when Dak went down last season. And people saying, well, actually, if you look at the offense the Cowboys have been running, the fact that Kellen Moore's left-handed, so he understands what Tua is going through, all that kind of stuff. People saying that he might be the better fit for Tua, and ultimately, I think, and again, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. But ultimately, I think the Dolphins probably went with McDaniel because, like people have been saying, he's a genius. He's probably the kind of guy that when you sit down and start talking through, okay, what's your plan? And then 2 hours later, we're still talking, and you're just like, I'm amazed. Like, wow. Like, it's one of them things where, and Kellen Moore probably had a really good plan as well. But McDaniel seemed like the kind of person that the X's and O's just X and O better, if that makes sense. He probably got a plan for, Lynn Bowden, for Jalen Waddle, for Preston Williams, for every single. He could probably envisage every single person on that roster and say, I want to do X, Y, and Z with them. And the biggest thing probably going to be, what can you do with Tua? And he doesn't call plays in San Francisco, but the plays he designs, I guess, have Jimmy G getting to a nearly to a Super Bowl. So you would have to imagine that if he can sprinkle some of that magic in Miami, there's no reason why we can't be doing the same. But obviously, so many things have to go our way. But I was at least intrigued by the option of Kellen Moore. How about you?
I didn't want Kellen Moore. I didn't believe in Kellen Moore at all. Kellen Moore has always had the best offensive line in the league. Always. We have the 32nd ranked offensive line in the league. He's always had a top 3 offensive line, Kellen Moore. I can't trust that because you may be spoiled by that. You might come here and think you could run the same plays, and what happens when no, you can't run those plays, Kellen Moore? You see what I'm saying? As far as him being left-handed, nah. I mean, he wasn't that good of a quarterback when he played, but just because that some of the best players make the worst coaches, but some of the worst players make the best coaches. So this is not an indictment against him being a player, but if we're talking about which hand he throws with, doesn't matter to me. It's all about what it looks like when you're calling plays. That Dallas defense looks great. I'm sorry, that Dallas offense looks great. But that Dallas offense is light years ahead of the Dolphins. So Mike McDaniel is more. He feels like he's a better fit because he has less to work with here right now than Kellen Moore had to work with in Dallas. Kellen Moore had everything under the sun in Dallas. The best O-line, top 8 quarterback in the league, top 6 quarterback in the league, 2 Pro Bowl receivers or all pro receivers, best O-line in the league. Could be, I guess he's not a Hall of Fame running back, but Ezekiel Elliott. Like, come on now. Nah. Kellen Moore was not intriguing to me at all. And plus, I thought he could be overwhelmed as well. So, Mike McDaniel, someone to me he's had people in front of him. Not only has he had, Kyle Shanahan, he had Mike Shanahan. Kyle's dad was in front of him. So he's got to see a lot. Kellen Moore, although he may have worked for where he got, which is hats off to you, bro. You work for it. That's cool. And it looks like you're a bit successful. I put Mike McDaniel's resume up against Kellen Moore's resume any day of the week. I really, Sherrod Steve asked me multiple times which one I wanted out of the two, and it was Mike McDaniel. You could throw all the coaches out there, and at one point it was, outside of Sean Payton, it was Mike McDaniel. But then I get to thinking, like, man, what if he gets overwhelmed? So we're about to find out very quick.
Yeah, I think also is that when you're held the way he is, he probably did envision him, becoming a head coach. And okay, he might not have been calling plays or doing some of the stuff that, soon-to-be head coaches do, I guess. But he's probably been, ready for this for years. And like you said, I think people will go, well, he didn't call plays in any of these places. And like you said, there have been people better. And because you can't out-call plays for Kyle Shanahan, that's not a bad thing. Like, it's not like he's, behind George Godsey. I'd say it. It's not like he's behind George Godsey. It's like, really, dude? Like, come on. It's Shanahan will go down as probably one of the greatest play callers of all time. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, could Shanahan have done what Andy Reid does, I guess, and sometimes let the enemy call plays? Possibly. But like you said, it'd be interesting to see, did he call some part of some games? Was he calling stuff in pre-season? And I think, if it turns out that he was doing stuff in pre-season, then, Go Time Dolphins will be going through those pre-season games, and hopefully we don't get shut down by YouTube. But if we don't get shut down by YouTube, then we'll be going through those games and seeing what he was calling and stuff like that. One thing, and again, over the next few weeks and months, I'm sure we're going to delve into what he can do for all types of players. But one thing someone was saying was, Mike Gesicki's about to go off, and it's like, let's pump the brakes because
Mhm.
again, it's we mentioned before, and I was chatting to my friend Tom about this. What you can do with a George Kittle doesn't mean you can do the same as a Mike Gesicki. And Gesicki is a great tight end. You know, at times the production hasn't been in Miami, but that's not his fault. But if you're a Mike Gesicki and you're like, you know what, I want to hit the open market, I want to go to a new team. A Mike McDaniel coming in and saying, I want to do X, Y, and Z to get you open, to make sure you get the ball as much, that could be like, okay, cool, fair enough. And it might be a situation where he says, I'll sign a 2-year deal because I want to actually see if what you're saying is going to come true. I don't want to be tied down for 5 years and then halfway through the first year, I'm still not getting targets. He might sign a 2-year deal and say, you know what? If at the end of the first year I haven't got the targets that I feel I've warranted, let me go. All that kind of stuff. So we'll see. But you have to believe, and I guess it's also one of those things that people. I feel like people just knocking him down for the sake of it, but going, well, if you're thinking of Mike McDaniel, what does it say to the defensive guys? It's like, what do you think it said to the offensive guys when you brought in a Brian Flores? Like, you can't have it both ways. I'm sure, again, shameless plug, Javon Holland on this episode. If you haven't seen it on this episode on the show, if you haven't seen it yet, go back and check it out. One of our greatest, if not the greatest episodes we've done. He literally said on Go Time Dolphins, when the offense are balling, he's like, let's go. Like, I'm pretty sure after the past 3 years, the defense will be happy if the offense is scoring 30, 40 points a game. They're going to be loving it. If Jalen Ward is going off, Javon Holland and that are going to be so pumped. If Tua's going off, guys are going to be pumped. So, listen, an offensive-minded coach who can get this offense going means less pressure on the defense. We said it before the start of this season. If the defense was here and the offense was here, if they just met halfway, it was playoffs, 100%. So again, we haven't signed anyone in free agency, haven't signed anyone in the draft. We haven't even seen a single minute of the Mike McDaniel Miami Dolphins. But if the defense can stay around here and the offense can, you would like to think it's going to be playoffs. So, listen, I'm quietly excited, but at the same time, I'm re-smiling at.
Because I was going to come back in because I said I was excited earlier. So for you to say you're slightly excited, I was like, I don't know if I'm really excited, but I'm like, okay, I don't know if excited is the word. So when you said, what am I smiling at? I was trying to see if I could come up with a different word other than excited, because I am kind of excited, but I'm kind of, I don't know. Intrigued is the best word, but I'm fairly excited.
It's something, I think it's something you said to me the first time we met. And bearing in mind, when we first met, I was a brand new Miami Dolphins fan. And you was like, you talk like someone who's been with us throughout your entire life.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I've been through the Adam Gase era and the Brian Flores era. That's all I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And a bit of Joe Philbin. But I feel like in that, 6-7 year span, if not longer, I've been through so much that new coaching hires just aren't going to get me excited no more. Simply because on day one, the possibilities are endless. They always say when the season starts, everyone has a chance of making Super Bowl. Everyone. People were saying that the Bengals wouldn't even make it at the AFC North, let alone Super Bowl. Now look at them. So right now, the possibilities are endless to what Mike McDaniel can do. I'm just not going to sit here and go, we're reaching the playoffs this year, because we should have reached the playoffs the last 2 years. Definitely the last season, and we haven't. So me not getting excited, me not being really pumped, isn't because I think it's a bad hire. It's more just a matter of, okay, you've done this. What's the next step? Very quickly, imagine free agency, we don't fix the offensive line. Am I meant to be excited by that? Like, let's let's see the wheels in motion before I start getting Mike McDaniel tattooed on my forehead. Like, let's slow down a bit.
Bro, you know something? I feel like Mike McDaniel is boom or bust.
Oh,
I
100%.
don't think there's no middle ground. I think he's either the next best thing or he's the lemon. He's the lemon. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's one or the other. I don't think there's a middle ground. I think Mike McDaniel's going to come out and be the next best thing. Like, everybody passed up on him. How come it took him so long to get his chance? Look how good Mike McDaniel is. Everybody was talking about him, but no one took a chance. The Dolphins took a chance. Now look how well this team is performing. That's what I think Mike McDaniel is. Or why did the Dolphins take a chance on him when everybody else passed up on him? You should have took a note that no one else was interested and Mike McDaniel wasn't getting. He's either boom or bust. I don't think there's an in-between at all with Mike McDaniel. That's why I'm intrigued. And actually, if you want to be real, that's how I play fantasy football. Straight up. I'm either the best team in the league or I'm the worst team in the league. And my fantasy footballers could attest to that. Mike Gesicki was on Twitter, and he put, this is pre-Mike McDaniel, by the way, he put year 5 coming. Let's keep it going. That's what he says. Then he posts one of my favorite Mike Gesicki quotes of all time. 3rd and 2, 3rd and 6, 3rd and 15, just give me the damn ball. I love Mike Gesicki, bro. So it looked like a commercial for, and it was a whole bunch of, Mike Gesicki sound bites and highlights, and it was like a 30-second clip. Man, it looks like Mike Gesicki knows he's coming back too. The way he posted that tweet, it was almost like, not only am I coming back, let's just hurry up and get this thing out the way and find a ground to agree on, a number to agree on, so we can keep this thing moving. Mike Gesicki is going to be in Miami. What you were saying about him and Kittle, you can't compare them two. They're two different tight ends. Mike Gesicki has better hands. Kittle could block better. Kittle has unbelievable yards after the catch. Yak. You know what I'm saying? Kittle is what make Garoppolo get the check. You know what I'm saying? So going to Garoppolo, though, Mike McDaniel. Shout out to Mike McDaniel. Shout out to Kyle Shanahan, too. We're going to have a show on Go Time Dolphins coming up, ladies and gentlemen, that got derailed by the investigation. But we're going to have a show on Go Time Dolphins. And we asked a few people to put their quarterback ranking in order. I'm gonna just give a little, what they call it, a tease. Let me tell you guys who was on my quarterback list. All right, and you don't have to pull it up, Kadeem, but this is just a tease. And this episode is coming very soon. We got quite a few opinions on quarterback rankings, 1 through 32. Here's the tease. Jimmy Garoppolo was 32nd on my list. True story. I wasn't joking. I wasn't trying to be funny. It wasn't sarcasm. Jimmy Garoppolo, I looked at the list. I'm like, I would take all these other quarterbacks before I take Jimmy Garoppolo. And I was not even trying to be funny. So to have Jimmy Garoppolo as your quarterback, and you made two NFC championships and 1 Super Bowl. I'm gonna bring this stat up one more time. This is in this playoffs. The playoffs that just passed prior to the NFC championship. Jimmy Garoppolo was 9-2 in the regular season when he doesn't throw a touchdown. I'll repeat that because somebody at first glance might not have caught that. Jimmy Garoppolo is 9-2 in the regular season when he does not throw a touchdown. What are you doing to not throw touchdowns and your team is still 9-2? I don't know how you do that, but it's been done. In the playoffs, Jimmy Garoppolo, 3-0 in the playoffs when he does not throw a touchdown. I don't know how you win games when your quarterback does not throw a touchdown, but he won 3 playoff games. I don't know how you do that. And up to the NFC Championship game, he only had 2 completions outside of the numbers. I don't want nobody to tell me Tua ain't better than Jimmy Garoppolo ever. Ever. Can't nobody ever tell me that. You know what I'm saying? So, unlock Tua. I'm not sold on the unlock Tua part. Like, he don't need to be unlocked. He just need help around him. You know what I'm saying? So we about to find out real quick.
Do you know what? It's unlocked the one game. Like, because like, listen, when you draft a quarterback, doesn't matter when you draft a quarterback, but when you draft a quarterback, what's the one thing they always say to give him? A one game. Give the guy one game to lean on. Listen, as I like to say in the podcast, lean on a man.
Lean on
a man.
Let's go.
But you know what? Lean on the one game. Lean on the one game. Like that's what he needs. So listen, the people going, oh, but this quarterback doesn't have no one game, blah blah. Listen. If that quarterback is an alien, then yeah, he don't need a one game because he's an alien. But for the 95% of the quarterbacks in the league, no matter how good they are, a one game makes things very, 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 very good. And I say it over and over again. I'll say one more time. We drafted a pocket passer who excels in the RPO game. We gave him no pocket, and there was no one for the pass option. Now I know that the RPO is to open up the pass lane, I guess. But at least have the defense expect a run at some point. And this probably means the Dolphins aren't drafting a running back at 29, but it also probably means that it's like the prime position to draft a running back, but we're not a running back away from doing anything this season. So, listen, I think I'm definitely going to watch a lot of 49ers games over the next few weeks. Try and work out what McDaniel was crafting in his lab. But until we work out, until we get a better idea of what Shanahan plays, what McDaniel plays, and just how much input he had into the offensive game plan from week to week, it's one of those things where let's wait to. This can sound really weird, but if we stink it out in preseason, I don't care because we're not going to get the plays in preseason. Not at all. Preseason is the vanilla offense. So if Tua and the offense are struggling in preseason, I'm not going to be like, get rid of everyone because, okay, the vanilla stuff doesn't work. But at the same time, it's not working. Let's go back and refine things and stuff like that. So I'm going to wait and see. And it's not exciting. I'm sure other podcasters can be like, this is an outrage. And then I'm like, oh, it's the best thing in the world. No, I'm going to, as a Dolphin fan for the past 7 years, and it feels like 70 years, I'm going to be tempered. I'm going to be calm. And I'll wait to see how this all plays out.
Bro, I told you I don't want to hear about your 7-year fandom, bro. I don't want to hear about that. I'm interested to see. Everybody's on the block right now. The entire offense is on the block. There's no one safe on the offense. The only person safe on the offense right now is Jalen Waddle. No one else. No one else. I'm dead serious. As much as we like Gesicki, yeah, he's up on the top of the list. But Jalen Waddle is the only person safe on this offense right now. Everybody else, you got to believe it's about to be the offseason. It's about to be free agency. Mike McDaniel is going to want people who know his system. He's going to bring in running backs from San Fran like James Hasty or Jeff Wilson or someone of that nature or Jerick McKinnon. One of them boys is going to come to the Dolphins in the offseason just to compete. They may not necessarily make the team, but he's going to bring them. He's going to have multiple running backs unless Chris Greer says, hey, bro, we're going to trade our first round pick for Christian McCaffrey. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no telling what's going to happen. No one is safe except for Jalen Waddle.
And Lynn Bowden.
Right. So I wanted to say this. How about Lynn Bowden's not safe, but it sounded good. How about when you said Mike McDaniel coming to the Dolphins does not turn Mike Gesicki into George Kittle? One could argue I might take Gesicki over Kittle anyway in a certain offense. Mike Gesicki is a slot receiver. Let's be real, y'all boys. Mike Gesicki is a slot receiver. He's not a tight end. It's when it was National Tight Ends Day, he said happy National Big Slot Receiver Day. That's what Mike Gesicki said, right? So he's a slot receiver. So one could argue I'll take Mike Gesicki in a certain offense over George Kittle. But Mike McDaniel coming to the Dolphins does not turn Mike Gesicki into George Kittle. The same way it doesn't turn Lynn Bowden Jr. into Deebo Samuel. I know it sounded good on Twitter. Bowden was like, oh, yeah, I run the ball a lot. You know, he used to be a running back, quarterback, receiver. We do not have any Deebo Samuels on our team. We don't have a breed of Deebo Samuel. We don't have none of that. Would be nice to see what we're about to bring in, though. So, you know what? I'm back. I'm going to tell you why it's exciting. Because I'm excited to see what we do in the offseason now. I'm more excited about the offseason than I am about the regular season product. Like, I can't wait to see what we put on the field. I'm not as excited about that as I am with free agency, what picks we trade, anticipating backlash from Tank Gate. You know what I'm saying? The Tank scandal. So I'm excited to see what we're going to do in this offseason because I got to believe we're going to bring in a running back. I got to believe we're going to bring in more receivers. And I got to believe we're going to bring in more offensive line. So when I say running back, I'm not talking about top of the line running back, first round pick running back, or even Christian McCaffrey. But that's an option. Christian McCaffrey is an option. He's on the trade block. I personally would not do it, but who knows? Maybe the Dolphins feel like, look at the Rams. They sacrifice all their picks and they keep going to the Super Bowl. Every time they go out and get picks. You know what? Here goes a first round pick. Carolina. How about we get that Christian McCaffrey contract? Again, I wouldn't love it, but maybe the Dolphins feel like we got to get this window now because Ross and Greer might not be here 12 months from now. So maybe they say, here goes a first round pick. Let's go get Christian McCaffrey. Here goes a second round pick. Let's go get Calvin Ridley. I would not love it. And the rest of the free agency, they go O-line. I don't love it, but I'm more excited about that offense than last year's offense. That's not how you build for the future, but y'all get what I'm saying. You have no idea what this front office is thinking right now.
Yeah, definitely. There's rumors going around that if the Dolphins are found guilty of tampering, they'll lose 3 first-round picks. So you might want to trade those first-round picks and get players. That way they can't take it. They can't take them away from you. This tweet from Peter Schrager is quite interesting. And do you know what? So the Dolphins at the moment are just tweeting so many like snippets from like people who have worked with
McDaniel.
Yeah, so Blake Ferguson tweeted, "Let's go." But here's something from Robert Saleh, who I don't know if he said it this week. I can't remember where exactly. But the Dolphins have it. And it says thinking outside of the box. As this loads. So I'm unprofessional. It says Mike is phenomenal. His mindset, the way he creates things, his creativity, his outside the box thinking, his ability to communicate with people, he's as good as they get. And I believe Robert Saleh went one more and was like, yeah, I don't see him in the AFC East.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. This was at the Senior Bowl over the weekend.
That's the Senior Bowl, yeah.
He also said, I hope he doesn't come to the AFC East.
Yeah.
Obviously, Robert Saleh worked with Mike McDaniel on the same team in San Fran.
Yeah. So, he saw what it was like firsthand, how this guy is. And again, I think a lot of people were saying, well, he has no experience, all that kind of stuff. But you've listened to what the guys who've worked with him said. Like your Joe Staley's who have vouched for him and stuff like that. And it's one of those things where, again, it remains to be seen how it all plays out. But this is one of those things where the way people speak about him gets, should have you going, okay, this is going to be good. And yeah, one of the things about Adam Gase was that he had that glowing reference from, Peyton Manning and stuff like that. And yeah, okay, cool. It didn't work out for Adam Gase. I know some people like him more than I do. It is what it is. But, the initial words around Mike McDaniel are glowing. And I guess that's better than nothing. I'll quickly read this one as well. This is from Carl Shanahan. Carl said, Mike's a good dude. He's really good at what he does, and he's himself. He's one of the smartest coaches I've been around, and he's been huge to our team and huge for me throughout my entire career. And again, that goes back to if Carl Shanahan is taking you wherever he goes because he at least, I'm not going to say he needs you, but he relies on you to kind of get to a certain place. And I'm not saying that, McDaniel's going to leave and then Shanahan's going to become like this nobody, basically, the George Clooney Batman as opposed to the Christian Bale Batman. I'm in a Batman mood. But at the same time, it's like...
Hey, Batman a superhero?
Of course he is.
My dog. Hey, that's why I rock with you, bro.
I don't know if you can...
That's why I rock with you, man.
You can't see it. You can kind of see it. But my Batman tattoos.
Oh, that Harley boy Quinn. Got Batman tatted?
Yeah, Harley Quinn. You can see the logo, the bat signal with the question mark.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot harder to see. I'll take a picture, but basically, like, camera. Somewhere there is Batman. But yeah, is Batman a superhero? Of course he is.
My dog.
Yeah, I'm in no way saying that Carl Shanahan is going to fall apart without Mike McDaniel. But at the same time, it's even if it's like a 10% of what Carl Shanahan is Mike McDaniel. Well, let's see if that 10% can become 100%, when he's by himself, when some of those exotic plays that were getting turned down in San Francisco and other places, whether it's like, okay, I can now do this because, I'm my own man. And it's also a matter of, listen, he don't do anything so stupid that Dolphins are going to lose the game. But at the same time, I remember one of the weeks when he was off ill, and I was chatting to Chris Adams from the Finns tailgate. And I was just saying, why are players in Miami never like wide open? Why do we don't ever get those long touchdowns where there's a guy, 40 yards out of field, basically just waving like that? We never have that. And I would like, I like to think, I genuinely hope that that's what we get going forward. I've said before, I don't watch the Dolphins be entertained. I watch them because I want to win. If they win every single week 3-0, I do not care. Just get me those wins. But it would be nice to have some 40-yard, wide open touchdowns or a run go for 70 yards as opposed to the run game just stopping and starting every 2-3 yards.
Javon Holland giveaway has arrived. We will be tweeting out what we will be giving away. It is a sight for sore eyes. It's we kind of wanted to wait till the hoopla of the tank gate kind of went away. And I think with the Mike McDaniel hire, we could kind of maybe not turn the corner, but we could get back to the giveaway. So tune in to Go Time Dolphins this week. Share, like, and subscribe. Check us out on social media at Go Time Dolphins. We're going to be letting everyone know what we're giving away, what Javon Holland basically gave us to give away, man. We appreciate Javon Holland. Can't ban the snow, man. Y'all already know. Come on over to bonus time with us. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
So I don't really have a tweet of the day either, because this generally was like last minute. Oh snap! This has to happen. There's more quotes, I guess. So Carl Juszczyk, Dolphins need a fullback because they're going to have that run scheme, by the way. Carl said, absolute best in the game. Nobody gets more out of his players than McDaniel. Most creative run scheme out there. So deserving of this promotion. That was quite interesting. And the one fun thing at the moment is Lynn Bowden basically just liking videos and tweets of Deebo Samuel doing stuff. It's like, yeah. Okay, cool. One thing that is interesting is with this hire, the 49ers get two third picks. Two third round picks. So you know, he's mixed race, biracial, however you want to put it. So I guess that plays into it, I guess. And again, this social media at the moment is a lot of fun. It's just all this stuff coming out, you know, Cameron Wolf saying Mike McDaniel is a bit more coachy as if Kyle Shanahan than just about anyone. So I'm expecting Dolphins to do a lot of Shanahan's own run scheme, but it's also known through the league as big new idea guy. All the buzzwords you've probably heard, innovative, creative, all that kind of stuff. And again, that's what it comes down to. I'm not gonna, you know, get overly hyped right now. But you know what? I said I wasn't gonna share tweets, but I have to share this tweet with you. What do you make of? Before I get to this tweet, anything else you want to add about the hire? I guess.
Yeah, I would say keep in mind I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my. Now that's Erykah Badu. I had to punch that in there. But listen. If you know, so I make music, and a lot of people, you probably know this, but I'm gonna just put it on Front Street, right? When a producer works with an artist, and then that artist becomes a producer, he tends to sound like the producer he worked under. For example, Dr. Dre had Eminem. Eminem started making beats. They was very similar to Dr. Dre beats. You know what I'm saying? Timberland. Missy started making beats. Missy beats started sounding like Timberland beats. You see what I'm saying? And this list could go on and on and on. Shout out to Outkast, my favorite group there is. They out there. You know what I'm saying? When you go into football, translated to football, you're going to have coaches work under coaches that have similar systems and they branch off and you can tell they're still related. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to have this Mike McDaniel thing and you got to believe he's going to fix this line and we're going to start running the ball too. You got to believe that. So I'm anxious more so than excited. I guess anxious is my word. I'm anxious to see what we're going to look like, but excited to see what we're going to do in the offseason.
You started watching anime yet?
I have not.
Right. What the tweet I had to share was Javon Holland. Demon Slayer just blew my mind. I am telling you, you saw how animated he got when you mentioned Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is, listen, this had to come out Monday or straight away. If it's late, it's because I'm watching Demon Slayer. I am telling you now, yeah, Demon Slayer is legit a top 3 anime on TV right now. It's Javon Holland himself says it. Dude, I nearly just ended the episode right there because, yeah, I'm watching Demon Slayer. Javon would understand.
Are you finished?
Dude, Demon Slayer. Do you know what, yeah?
What up, man?
That might be Javon Holland's new nickname, the Demon Slayer.
I like it.
Yeah, dude. You know what? Anyone who is a graphics person, if you can do me like the Miami Dolphins defense, but as Demon Slayer characters, Oh my god, are you mad?
Are you mad?
Are you mad? Could you imagine that? Yo, oh my. Yo, I'm off on Monday as well. Demon Slayer, Attack on Titan, and I'm starting One Piece as well. Charlie, you need to start Demon Slayer.
You know what? I'm gonna take a consensus. I ain't even hit him up yet. I'm gonna ask him where do I start, and I'm gonna ask LB where do I start, and I'm gonna ask you. Matter of fact, what anime should I start at?
Demon Slayer.
Demons. That's where I should start.
Especially because it's not like the thing with One Piece is that it's daunting. It's like over 1,000 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have time for that.
Right.
Demon Slayer is just started season 2. I think it's like 8 or 9 episodes in season 2. Season 1 is 26 episodes. Like it's not. You know what? That's like 2-3 days if you're really watching them over and over again. Attack on Titans in season 4, and then like other ones are like finished and all that kind of stuff. Demon Slayer is still ongoing, and you just heard what the guy said. You live on Go Time Dolphins. Demon Slayer just blew my mind.
I'm gonna hit him up tonight. See what he say. We out of here.